SmackDown late review, like I'll do it for you. It's the hater up in this mug, and it's time for the Friday night SmackDown review. Earlier today, the hater was thinking, when is the next WWE PLE? And I completely had no answer. I was dumbfounded. I was flabbergasted to learn that apparently it's tomorrow up in this bitch. It's not a PLE, but it's a Saturday night main event, which effectively is the same thing. So, wrestling basically is so bad that nobody even knows when shit's happening anymore. Now, with that being said, let's review today's SmackDown, and let's do it like we always do it, which of course means segment by segment. Now, this episode was complete garbage, and I will go as far as saying it's the worst SmackDown of all time, all right? Now, every week it gets worse, but this week had some low points that I think go down as the worst segment of all time. And we begin with the first of these segments. Tiffany Stratton comes out and calls out Jade Cargill. She's all angry and shit. Nick Aldis, who basically has no reason to exist in the universe of WWE. He's just like Adam Pearce. You could just have one guy, or better yet, how about have some general managers with personalities? Is this too much to ask for? Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce are the same guy. They're just these two assholes who are like stressed out at their jobs, and then they do exactly as they're told. Like, they don't do anything. People make matches on their own. They pretend to talk to them, and when they do, these guys never say no. You know, someone comes and says, I'd like to have a match with this guy, and Nick Aldis says, you got it. Like, they never actually do anything. Even in kayfabe, it's a complete waste of everyone's time, and quite frankly, they found these two guys and made them the most boring versions of themselves. These are two guys that are historically have been boring, you know, but they made them even more boring, if that's even possible. Anyways, Tiffany says that she wants Jade out there one-on-one. Jade comes out. Earlier, they showed Jade walking in with a Punisher outfit. Now she's wearing something else, which is really stupid. Tiff then tries to attack, but security just stops her, and that's it. Jade just walks out, and Tiffany's in the ring holding up the belt. So this is literally the worst segment of all time. I cannot think of a segment that has done less in all of my life that I've watched wrestling. This is the worst segment, and therefore the worst opening segment ever. You couldn't write something worse than this. Like, if you tried, you couldn't write something worse. If nothing happened, that would be better. If Michael Cole came to the ring and said, welcome to SmackDown, that would be better. If fucking Felipe Escalante took a shit in the middle of the ring, that would be better. This was the worst thing of all time. Literally nothing happened. Tiffany said, I want to fight Jade. Jade came out. They tried to fight. Security successfully pulled them apart. That's it. That's it. Someone sat down and wrote this shit down, and people agreed to make this a segment. So automatically, this show has the unique distinction of starting out in the worst possible way, in the worst way of all time, and most importantly, in the worst way imaginable. Nothing worse could be written. The only thing worse would be Tiffany comes out, doesn't say anything, Jade comes out, doesn't say anything, and then that's it. That's the only thing that could be worse, which is fucking retarded. Anyways, they then play a vignette of Ilia Dragunov playing what they're attempting to brand as badass rock music. Dragunov talks about how he overcame the challenges. Great. Nobody gives a shit about this jobber. This is a complete waste of money. They spent all this money making this vignette and all the money they spent airing this vignette, and nothing comes of it. Immediately after the vignette ends, we hear the shitty SmackDown theme song, which is one of the worst theme songs of all time. You know what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. It's fucking retarded. Whoever wrote this song is retarded. I don't give a fuck if they won 10,000 Grammys. Anyone that's involved in the making of this song is fucking stupid, and it's time that someone tells them you have no talent for this whatsoever. Oh, hater, I think it's being sang by Megan Thee Stallion. I don't give a fuck if it's the most impressive rapper of all time. All of these broads that are rapping, they're all shit. What do you think of them apples? Lil Kim all day. Shauna all day. Shauna is the haters' favorite female rapper. What do you think of them apples? Most of you don't even know what the fuck that is. Oh, I only like Travis Scott. Go look up Shauna, dumb fucks. Go look up Lil Kim. Most of you probably don't know who she is, and she's a legend. Anyways, that being said, after this, it's time for Ilia versus a mystery opponent. I fucking hate mystery opponents unless they're done correctly. The implication of a mystery opponent is that we should look forward to who the mystery opponent's going to be. So, if it's Ilya Dragunov, and let's say the mystery opponent is Batista, that would be amazing. If it's Ilya Dragunov and the mystery opponent is Booker T making a return, that would be amazing. But if it's Ilya Dragunov and the person that it ended up being Nathan Frazier, then this is not a mystery opponent. This is Nathan Frazier. First of all, why is it even a mystery opponent? It should just be Ilya Dragunov's open challenge. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? It could be a mystery opponent. It could be two mystery opponents. It could not happen at all. Maybe nobody answers the challenge. But despite the fact that we have a general manager, Ilya Dragunov is allowed to just come out and have a match whenever the fuck he wants. Nevertheless, this is a match, so we should be thanking our stars. The person that comes out is left up to the imagination, because before this, we get R-Truth giving candy to Motor City Machine Guns, dressed as Santa Claus, who basically, R-Truth is retarded, R-Truth has no dignity left, and R-Truth should just move on with his life. Solo Sikoa appears, and they argue about whether Motor City Machine Guns are better than MFTs. And then Solo Sikoa calls Chris Sabin Harry Potter for some reason. I didn't get it. I think it's fucking stupid. I don't know anything about Harry Potter, but probably Solo Sikoa does. So anyways, it's been 20 minutes thus far, and absolutely nothing has happened. They decide to fight at some point, and Solo says he's going to go talk to Nick Aldis. After this, Nathan Frazier comes out back to the ring, and then Ciampa comes out. Ilia says that Ciampa is a jackass, so it's going to be Frazier that gets the title shot because he came out first. A Sunday night heat level match occurs, and ultimately, Ilya Dragunov wins with a power bomb followed by an H-bomb. This match was not a bad match, technically speaking, but it really is basically an indie match. Nobody should be paying SmackDown prices for this match. It's as simple as that. If you're going to your local arena to watch SmackDown, you should expect something better than the average indie mid-card match, which is what this was. In addition, there's absolutely no chance in hell that Nathan Frazier, the ultimate jobber, is going to beat Ilya Dragunov, who is the US champion, who just came back and who got a vignette. So this is a complete and colossal waste of everybody's time. After this, Ciampa comes back and attacks Frazier from behind, and we go to commercial abruptly. We then come back from commercial, and we see what happened during the commercial. So whoever produced this show is a fucking moron. How about just show us what happened, then go to commercial? Plan it out so you can do it all in one break. We come back from commercial and they just showed us what happened while we were on commercial. This is just, you can't make this up. This is just poorly produced TV. You're going to cut to commercial at an inopportune time. Then, to make sure that I didn't miss what happened because the show went on, you're going to then tell me after the commercial what happened during the commercial. How about plan ahead, dipshits? Anyways, during the commercial, Gargano and Axiom came out. I should also point out, I didn't put a note on this on my little notes here, but Fraxium has one of the worst theme songs of all time. It's right there with the SmackDown theme song. It's right there with fucking the Street Profits theme song, and it's right there with MVP's theme song. All of these theme songs have some dumbass lines that clearly were crafted by someone with approximately 55 IQ points. You know, obviously, in the SmackDown theme song, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's literally a person counting twice. I don't understand the logic. In the Fraxium one, I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was some bullshit about how they're called Fraxium. Obviously, with the Street Profits, it's itty, meeny, miny, mo, hada, da, da, do. It's like this is just music for people who have like one brain cell left. Whoever sat down, I've said this before, but I gotta say it again. Whoever sat the fuck down and started to write the theme song, they actually took a pen or a pencil, like I envisioned them like Eminem on the bus in 8 Mile, right? And they just wrote down, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That they thought this was good lyrics. Fucking go and fuck yourself. And then, of course, obviously, the worst line maybe in the history of music and hip hop. Like Tropicana, I'm bringing the juice. And then when they do this, in the Titantron, it's literally a hand putting a cup and then pressing a button and orange juice comes down. It's like, can you think of anything less cool? You could put a fucking gun to my head, and I couldn't think of something more lame than MVP and MVP's theme song. This is unbelievable that people bought into that shit. It's like some retard, dressed like a Power Ranger with a Band-Aid on his fucking nose, who goes ball in 8 months after that word was popular. It's unbelievable that this guy had a career. It's unbelievable. It really is hard to believe. And MVP in the ring, he's a decent guy. But the gimmick, it's the fucking dumbest thing ever, man. But anyways, nothing compares to the Fraxium theme song at this point. But anyways, let's move on. The match was already over, obviously. So then backstage, the brawl is still happening. Ilia Dragunov comes and participates, kind of. And then we pan to the left, and Tama Tonga, who again has now gained considerable weight, has the US title. He hands it over to Ilia Dragunov, and I shit you not, he says, yeah. That's, again, I mean, we need to fire all these fucking dorks. I don't give a shit if Tama Tonga is the coolest guy in wherever the fuck he's from. If that's the case, that whole town is full of dorks, okay? This is retarded. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? How does no one in his actual family say, can you please stop embarrassing us on TV every week when you act like a retard? Straight up, same thing with R-Truth. Can someone in his family say, hey man, do you have any dignity left? As a man, do you have any dignity left? You've been embarrassing yourself for 10 years, dressing up like Santa Claus and saying it's Halloween. Do you have any dignity as a human being to say, hey man, I'm not doing this shit anymore? The hater has been rewatching one of the hater's favorite shows, Spartacus Blood and Sand, in anticipation for the spinoff. And there's a scene where one character is fucking this slave girl from behind, right? And all I could think of, this woman's naked. She's an actress, right? And this guy's basically fucking her from behind as he's talking to somebody else. This is kind of to show that the slaves in Rome were completely dehumanized. But I thought to myself, imagine being this actress. Your job literally is get naked and pretend this guy's fucking you in the ass. That's your job. You know what I'm saying? You might as well just go do porn. You know what I mean? That has more dignity than being an extra that gets butt fucked in the ass. But even that has more dignity than being R-Truth and humiliating yourself for 15 years at this point. It's unbelievable the lengths to which people are willing to go for some money. And good for R-Truth, I like him. But this is not funny anymore. A grown man in his 50s acting like a retard on TV is humiliating. I get it. It's all fun and good. If he doesn't mind, why should I? And I don't if he doesn't mind. But there's no way that he doesn't mind. Especially after he did the whole Ron Killings thing. Anyways, let's move on. Cuts this. So now they lead us to believe that the next US title challenger, is going to be Tama Tonga, which really solidifies the fact that this belt is for jobbers. If this wasn't clearly pointed to earlier today when we had Frazier and Ilia Dragunov, a Sunday Night Heat level match, as the US title match. The US title at one point was contested by Cena and Rusev at WrestleMania. So there you have it. Anyways, after this, Kit Wilson comes out immediately for a match. He's here to dismantle the patriarchy, and he will wrestle a newly faced Carmelo Anthony in what I would consider to be a Saturday afternoon metal level match. Remember Saturday afternoon metal, which was lower than even Sunday Night Heat in terms of who gave a shit about it? You probably don't even know what the fuck that is. That should tell you all you need to know. Kit Wilson is upset. The storyline is, according to Michael Cole, that Carmelo is hyper-masculine. If you had to pick anybody on the roster to say they're hyper-masculine, Carmelo Hayes is literally the last guy you would pick. He's about 5'3", and he's got a goofy-ass haircut. This guy is not masculine at all. He's barely a man. He's 5'3". But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I do like Carmelo. I just don't like that he's being presented in this fashion. Carmelo Hayes should be presented the way that he tries to present himself. As this cocky, arrogant guy that actually wins. And hopefully this leads to a slight push. I'm not optimistic about it because this match, in my opinion, Carmelo Hayes didn't do anything impressive. However, Kit Wilson was actually rather impressive. Number one, there's a part where he was doing like a, what's it called? Like a waist lock on Carmelo. Kit Wilson is literally like a foot taller, and if he wanted to, he would beat the shit out of Carmelo Hayes. This is unbelievable. The disparity in the size between these two guys is absurd. Carmelo Hayes would have no chance in a real fight against Kit Wilson, and let alone The Miz. But that's neither here nor there. So after this is happening, Kit Wilson does something cool. He does this twist of fate-ish, Sister Abigail-ish DDT, which was awesome. And Corey Graves pointed out that it was awesome. Like I said, he's a foot bigger. During the match, there's a false finish, which I actually fell for. The Miz came and attacked Melo and threw him into the post, right? On the outside. Pushes him in the ring. Kit hits an awesome elbow drop, another great move by Kit Wilson, and only gets a 2 count. You know, if the other guy, Elton Prince, if that guy is out, hell, I would be okay with Kit Wilson getting a slight push because of all the people in his position, which is basically the entire roster, he at least has a gimmick. Is it a good gimmick? Absolutely not. It's a stupid-ass gimmick. It's the Joe Gacy gimmick, but like less entertaining and less interesting and not serious, right? But at least he has a gimmick. You know, when you compare him to Carmelo Hayes or Ilya Dragunov or Nathan Frazier, whose gimmick is I'm here to wrestle, then yeah, Kit Wilson is better than these guys for that reason, right? He's also bigger than everyone that I just mentioned by about a foot and a half, depending on who you're talking about. Anyways, despite this, it's only a 2 count. Melo hits the first 48, which is an awesome move, and wins. But that's the only move he did. He did that and the little cutter thing that he does. Another cool move. I really hope he moves away from the nothing but net. That could be like a move he does once in a while, like if he's already on the turnbuckle and he pushes someone off. But as a finisher, as a consistent finisher, the first 48 is perfectly fine. It's basically a code breaker, but like more impactful because Carmelo Hayes is obviously a better athlete now than Jericho was when he started doing that, probably. And it's just like the code breaker is already a legendary move in my opinion. So, I mean, I think the way Jericho did it was like a little bit better because it's less bombastic, but I like the pomp when Carmelo does it. So I'm cool with it. So he wins, but unfortunately, like this is one of those situations where like if Kit Wilson beat Carmelo Hayes, this would actually be a big deal because Kit Wilson's never won a match in his life. Carmelo Hayes has won multiple matches in his life, so him beating Kit Wilson is not a big deal at all. Right after the match, Miz comes and hits him with a fucking skull-crushing finale. That's it. After this, we move on backstage, and Bliss and Flair are talking about how they're friends, but also aren't. They've been doing this for like 8 months now. Nobody could possibly give less of a flying fuck now than they did 8 months ago. It'll be Nia versus Alexa, and that match is next. Right? So Nia starts coming out up in this bitch, but then we go to commercial. This is another one of those, you know, the person comes out and they wait in the ring for 15 minutes while other shit happens. Sami Zayn is shown talking to Nick Aldis, and he wants to be with Motor City Machine Guns when they wrestle the fat asses later tonight. Nick Aldis straight up tells him that he's not cleared. You know? Simple as that. Why is he even there if he's not cleared? Why the fuck is Sami Zayn getting TV time if he's not cleared? But I do appreciate that Sami Zayn is trying to look out for his friends, and he is kind of establishing the rapport that he has with the MFTs, reestablishing it, I should say. Cucky Rhodes comes out and says Sammy's great for defending the title, which is very ironic considering that Cody could do what Sammy was doing and defend the title like a man once in a while, but he doesn't. He just tells Sami Zayn that doing so is a good idea for him, right? I don't even understand what the fuck the point of this shit is, right? After this, Nick Aldis asks Cody if he attacked Jacob Fatass. Cody says no, and that's the end of it. It's as simple as that. Nick's like, I gotta ask you, did you do it? Cody's like, I didn't. He's like, that's good enough. Literally, that's what he says. He's like, that's good enough for me. So why even asking? What is he gonna say? Yes? Hey, did you attack Jacob Fatass too? Ah, you got me. You know what I mean? Fucking stupid as shit. But anyways, Nick then gives him the contract and says it's time to sign it later tonight. Then the match starts between Nia and Alexa. The match is boring as shit. The entire point of the story here is that Nia is like a bitter ass and Alexa is now getting the push. Nia gets distracted by Charlotte and Alexa wins with like a Tree of Woe dropkick. This isn't even like a viable finish. Basically, like she kicks Nia in the back of her leg. So Nia falls like as she's doing the Annihilator and gets caught up in like a Tree of Woe from the middle rope. Then Alexa just does like a dropkick on her tummy and pins her. That's it. Like this was a WrestleMania women's match at some point, and now it's just this. So it is what it is. that's it. There's nothing more about this, nothing less about this. I think it's over. This feud is over because it's not really a feud up in this bitch. After this, the MFTs are backstage. They look retarded. And Phoenix comes up and says, I want to fight you to Talatonga. And then he slaps Talatonga, which I did like. Talatonga just basically holds back. And he's like, because Solo's like, just take care of him another time, you know? When was the last time Solo had a match? Anyways, whatever. The MFTs then go and wrestle the Motor City Machine Guns, and they use the numbers game to win. The match ends when Tama Tonga, who used to be the normal one, but now is the second fat one, he does a cutthroat, right? This time he doesn't do it while the guy's like kneeling, he just does it while he's standing. It's effectively like an inverted clothesline. He just kind of like swings his arm like the hidden blade when Will Ospreay does it. Nothing crazy here. This is a typical, like, MFT's squash match, right? Motor City Machine Guns were doing their best to hold them off, but ultimately failed. And here we are, right? After this, Tala Tonga grabs one of the Motor City Machine Guns and chokeslams his bitch ass, right? It is what it is. Like, if the MFTs, if the my fat ass tribe are going to be here, or my fat ass tree, right? If they're going to be here, then, like, this is how they should be booked. I mean, for better or for worse, this is all they can do, you know? They can just use the numbers game and slowly move up the ranks. And maybe Solo Sikoa can go after the WWE title, I guess. Now the question is, who attacked Jacob Fatu? How come nobody's asking these guys? The ones that have consistently attacked Jacob Fatu. They're asking Cody Rhodes. Like, what the fuck? Why would Cody Rhodes do it? Well, I mean, I guess Cody Rhodes has a vested interest. He doesn't want to face Jacob Fatu. But the most likely culprit is either Drew McIntyre or the my fat ass tree. There's no other better, answer for this, right? But whatever, we're gonna get to that when we get to that. Nobody gives a flying fuck. After this, some shit goes down because Phoenix comes to make the save, but he gets wrecked. He does some moves, but then eventually Tala kicks him in the head and chokeslams him. After this, it's not over yet because Nakamura comes to make the save and he gets his ass beat. So this is probably going to be the War Games match because there's 4 people there. Motor City, Phoenix, Nakamura. I think this would be a decent team just because the Motor City Machine Guns can do crazy shit in the cage. And the 5th guy can be presumably Sami Zayn, but more likely than not, Jacob Fatu at this point, right? That's a decent match, but it's never going to rise to the level of a main event. Like, that cannot be the main event of War Games, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even think that match justifies bringing 2 rings to the event. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a more compelling Survivor Series match. That'd be pretty nice, actually. I would enjoy that a lot. So the main event's going to be probably a Cucky Rhodes match, or it's going to be another War Games. Maybe the women's War Games match will be more compelling. I highly doubt it. It'll probably be like, Team Asuka versus Team, like, fucking Io Sky or some shit. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, they beat up Nakamura as well, so that's the end of that. Nobody else comes out. Now it's time for the contract signing. Drew McIntyre comes out, and he refuses to sign the contract because he doesn't like the rules of wrestling. The rules of wrestling dictate that in order to become champion, you have to pin or make the champion submit. As Ric Flair put it, to be the man, woo, you gotta beat the man, cucks. But Drew McIntyre says, what prevents Cody, basically, from getting a DQ on purpose, like he's done in the past, according to Drew, or getting a count out? So basically, Nick Aldis says, look, sign it, or like, fuck off, I'll find somebody else, right? And then Drew says, all right, sounds good, which I liked. I like that he's willing to walk away from the deal, you know? Then Cucky says they can just add the clause that basically says that if Cucky loses by counter or DQ, then Drew McIntyre becomes the champion. Nick agrees, and it's official. Now, I don't want to be a legal nerd here, a legal eagle, a legal ninja, if you will, but the fact of the matter is, this is not how contracts work, right? In order to make an alteration to an existing contract, right, you have to do so in writing, and further consideration is required. In this case, consideration could be argued, but it has to be in writing, number one. 2, even if it's not in writing, if you then sign a contract that doesn't say this new term, the new term is not going to be added. So this pretty much means that there's no need to sign the contract. As long as they agree orally, that's already a contract. You don't need to actually sign one. A lot of people don't know that, but you don't need to sign a contract a lot of times you do, but most of the time, an oral contract is just as binding and just as valid as a written contract, as long as it satisfies what's called the statute of frauds. We'll talk about that another time when we do hater legal lessons, cuckolds. Look it up, bitch boys. Anyways, they sign this shit, and that's how that goes down. After this, it's not over, right? Because Cookie Rhodes eventually says that like he's okay with this new term. So I guess Drew McIntyre should probably be satisfied, but obviously he's not. He says that Cucky is a corporate cuck, which he's 100% right about, and that despite this, the fans cheer him. They should boo him because he's not a man of the people. He is a corporate champion, right? He 100% is. And I think at WrestleMania, they need to just have him sell the soul to The Rock. That's the only thing that could make him interesting again. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. And maybe you can have Drew win the Rumble and like the conspiracy is revealed to be true. That'd be kind of nice. Anyways, after this, Drew says he made a blueprint. What's the blueprint? The blueprint is he won the Royal Rumble and became champion at WrestleMania, right? But I guess that's not what they're talking about because they start talking legit about the impact of the Indies and how Cucky walked away and Drew got fired. Like it doesn't matter if Cody Rhodes walked away. He was just a jobber. It's the same thing as if Drew McIntyre walked away. Cody would never get fired because of his dad. This proves that Drew McIntyre is right. Because earlier, like Drew McIntyre insinuated, like weeks ago, that Cucky is basically a Nepo baby, right? He then continues this train of thought. And basically, he says, look, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, when Cody Rhodes tells him that he left and Drew was fired, the underpinnings of this are exactly what Drew's talking about. That because Cody is a corporate bitch, he's always going to have a job. He didn't earn it like Drew earned it. Drew explains that Cody is the American nightmare, right? Because he's a corporate shill, and that Drew is the American dream, right? Because he's an immigrant who worked hard and didn't use his connections, which explains why he was fired, and Cody was just let to keep a job even though he never drew a dime. So anyways, that shit goes down, and Cody then is the one who brings up that Drew got fired. At this point, is where Drew McIntyre, if this were a fair promo, he could just tell the truth. He could just be like, Cody, let's be real. You're a fucking jobber. You were Stardust. This sport is fake. You had to build another company that you then abandoned after using them to get yourself over to come here and steal the spotlight for people like me who actually earned their way back fair and square through our actual abilities, not through the fact that our father was Dusty Rhodes. He could have said that, but of course he's not allowed to. Cody then says nice guys used to finish last, and then he showed up, right? Which is retarded because John Cena is a 17-time world champion, and he was a nice guy who finished first all the time. Cody Rhodes is just another John Cena. Cody Rhodes pretends that he's like something different and something more special, but he fucking isn't. He's the same asshole we've seen forever. Anyways, after this, basically Drew McIntyre says Cody should be with his daughters and says, what are their names again? And that's it. He just brought up the daughters and asked, what are their names again? He didn't insinuate anything bad by this. He was just basically saying Cody's a shit father for not spending Halloween with his daughters. That's it, motherfucks. He didn't say, like, I want to kill your daughters. He didn't say, I want to eat your children, like Mike Tyson did to Lennox Lewis. He didn't say, I want to fuck your wife. He didn't say anything that, honestly, realistically, merits someone attacking someone. If someone just brings up your daughters and you attack them, you're not the nice guy. You're a fucking cocksucker. So basically, Cody proves he's a cocksucker and swings at Drew with the belt. Drew ducks. And then Drew says, if you hit me like that tomorrow, right, you get DQ'd and I become champion. Then Nick Aldis decides this is an opportune time to repeat the exact same sentiment to Cody, literally like 1 second after Drew says it. So basically Drew says, if you hit me like this tomorrow, you lose by DQ and I become champion. And then Nick Aldis pulls Cody and says, if you do that tomorrow, you lose and he becomes champion. Literally for no reason, he says it again. Meanwhile, this is all the distraction Drew needs. He comes in, claymores Cody, picks him up and power bombs him through the shitty, cheap table that they put a cloth over just to make it look more legit. And that's it, right? Then Nick Aldis is like, what are you doing, Drew? Like, it's like, what do you mean what he's doing? Like, you know exactly what he's doing. He's attacking the guy he's going to wrestle tomorrow. Now, the question is, why doesn't Drew McIntyre now grab a chair since they signed the contract and he's guaranteed a title match? If he's this massive heel, why doesn't he just grab a chair and just pulverize Cody's knee? Right? Or his foot, or his neck, or whatever. Why doesn't he just put Cody out? Cody can't answer the challenge tomorrow. Drew gets, crowned champion, right? He's a heel. He thinks he's being unfairly treated. So why not take matters into his own hands, right? He's already willing to hurt Cody. He attacked him already. He already battered him illegally. He put him through a table. Can't do this in real life, obviously, right? So why not just continue this and hurt him some more? Why would he stop now? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And this is why, amongst other reasons, primarily the first segment, that this is one of the worst, if not the worst, SmackDowns of all time. There were no redeeming values here. Like the highest caliber of match was the Alexa Bliss Nia Jax match, which absolutely nobody wants to see. I cannot imagine how disappointed you would be if you paid money to watch this live. I couldn't help but think during the contract signing. I mean, I guess they got to see a Claymore and a powerbomb through a table, which is kind of nice, but I couldn't help but think during the contract signing, right? How are people still here? You know? Like, you know the last thing is just a boring contract signing. Just go home, beat traffic. But, you know, they were there. So there you have it. This company fucking sucks. This show was complete garbage, and I hated every minute of it. So kiss my ass. Cucksters!